Hello everyone, it's that time again. Time again for what? Another commentary segment. This is Commentary with Ozzy Rose. Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Ozzy Rose. I hope everyone's having a great day today. As for me, the wind is a little bad, but not really a complaint. But anyways, the topic for this commentary segment is pressured. Pressured, right. I know everyone in this country, I think today, especially today, is pressured to death. I've said many times that, we all have to multitask to get things done. I'm like all of you. There's times I get pressured, but this is how I release it. When I get pressured, I go strutting, and that releases that pressure. I've told friends, when I see them real stressed out and stuff, I would tell them, look, you got to find a way to release that pressure. You're too pressured. If you don't, you're going to go off on someone. I know from personal experience. Now, don't get me wrong. When I've been real pressured, I just didn't go off on someone. Don't get me wrong. But I was edgy. I call it being cranky for me, and I don't like being cranky. We all get cranky from being pressured. I guess it's how we release the pressure when we're pressured. Is what we watch out for. If we can release that strong pressure in a positive, good way, then that's great. If we release that pressure when we're pressured in a negative way by going off on someone, that's not good either. But we all do get pressured. I do myself. I'm just like all of you. I'm a human being. There's times I get a little pressured. I don't get like I used to get. Used to, I was like a lot of you. I got too pressured. But I've never really just went off on someone, for no reason or anything like that either. I'm not saying that. But I've gotten cranky, as I call it for me. And I don't like it when I get cranky. Sometimes this phone makes me cranky. It pressures me. I mean, really bad. And sometimes it makes me cranky, and I say, damn it, you're making me cranky, But how I release my main pressure when I get pressured so bad is by hitting the streets, rocking and rolling and strutting. Doing these commentary segments too helps when I'm pressured. My two written posts today is another thing. Of course, my live show every night, So I tend to believe today when I get really so pressured a little bit, not like I used to, but a little bit, I release that pressure in a positive way, at least from what I can see anyways. But I mean, I understand all of y'all out there, y'all get pressured, whether it's with a family crisis or a friend's crisis or your job. Now there's something right there, talking about pressure. I remember my first full-time year-round job was when I was 15, and I worked in a factory. And I was at the end of the production line, and I done my job right, okay, where I had to do several things at one time. Then the two guys next to me thought their jobs were too rough, so they quit. So I done my job and I done their two jobs to show you how I've always could multitask. I always could do that my whole life. And when under work pressure like that, I worked good under pressure, And I was like that from a kid on up. When it comes to work pressure on me, I wasn't pressured. I could go with it, But I know a lot of you out there are different. We all are. You know what I'm saying? Some jobs you get pressured so much, and I hate that for y'all out there when it comes to your work. And I know everybody strives to want to do the type of work that they really want to do. And a lot of times you have to take jobs that you don't necessarily like until you can get that job that you do, and to pay the bills, so to speak, put food on the table, So I understand how a lot of you all are out there. You're pressured from work, you're pressured from family life or a family crisis or your friend's crisis. The economy, like this high inflation, adds on to that pressure, and it does. Paying more at the pump for gas. I get that. I mean, I don't have to worry about that because I don't have a car, but I do have to worry about it when I go to the grocery store. Because when the price of fuel goes up, that makes everything go up, as y'all know. So I do have to pay more. I just don't have to pay at the gas pumps, because I don't own a car. But when we have high inflation, that increases the pressure on everybody that's already pressured to death. And it does. We've had high inflation now for going on about four years. And then this thing with Iran, I know it's putting a lot of pressure on Americans here because they're paying more at the pump, they're paying more for groceries, clothing, etc., etc. You know, so it just adds on to the pressure that causes people to get pressured out. Now, you can worry about what's going on with this thing with Iran, but I don't recommend it. You know, I used to be like a lot of y'all. I used to worry about what the government's doing in this other country. Are we going to be in war and all this stuff? I don't worry about none of that crap anymore because there's nothing I can do to change it. So I don't worry about that. That doesn't pressure me. It pressures me a little bit when I go to the grocery store, of course, and we're paying more for groceries. You know, I'm no different. It costs me more, too. And then with this Iran thing, as you know, that's making gas go up, which means everything else go up. You're going to pay more at the restaurants. You're going to pay more for your food at the grocery store, your clothing, your furniture. Anything you can think of that requires fuel will go higher, which adds on to that pressure that really pressures everybody here in America. And it makes crime go up too. When we have high inflation, that makes crime go up. Also, high inflation makes the taxes go up. Added on pressures. More pressured, and more pressured. So, I get it, and I don't like it. Is there anything I can do about it? No. That's why I don't worry about it, because it's nothing I can control. That's why I say to y'all, I don't recommend you worrying about this Iran thing, or if we're going to be in a long-time war and all that. What will be, will be. We can't control that. Just like we can't control Mother Nature, you know. You know, you can either go with the flow or you can choose not to. I used to choose not to. I wouldn't go with the flow. And I would sit on pins and needles and worry about stuff like that. I didn't worry about me. Don't get me wrong. I've never worried about me in life. I worried about other people. I still worry about a little bit about other people today. I worry about our military and this Iran thing a little bit. They're away from home. A lot of the soldiers that are over there or going over there, you know, and I know it's hard on them. I know. You know, I get it. They're pressured too, you know. So, and I know every sitting president is pressured, whether they're Democrat or Republican, because of everything they're having to do, you know. So I know they're under pressure too. And I know they're pressured. Some presidents, you see a lot of them go in at a younger age, and by the time they get out of office, they're fully gray-headed, you know, because they don't get much sleep, you know. And that's one of the things about being a president. That's the job right there I would not want to have, personally, you know. But you know, I've changed a lot in my ways. Some of my ways are still the same, but a lot of things I had to work on a little bit. And one was, you know, worrying about things I couldn't control. You know, and that's why, you know, I didn't worry about me personally, but I worried about my fellow man, woman, and child, you know. And with this high inflation, these tariffs and everything, I'm concerned for everybody. That I am. I'm concerned. I'm not worried for y'all really so much. I'm just concerned for y'all. You know, because I know this is making it hard on all Americans, and it is. You know, so I would say just give it to the Lord. That's what I do too. You know, I tell him when it comes to a personal little problem with me, I'll tell him if I'm a little sad, a little angry, I'll say, look, old man, you take care of it. You know I can't deal with it. Do something with it. You know, and sometimes he will release me from being pressured a little bit if I'm patient. Sometimes it's right away. Sometimes it's a day or two. Sometimes it's a week or two. But I throw it to him. You know, he paid on the cross at Calvary for worry and fear. That's why I've never feared anything. I've never worried about me. I have worried about others, like I said. I worried about my wife, my kids, my mother when she was an addict. You know, but I never worried about me. And you know, this is how when I get a little bit pressured, commentary segment, everything like I mentioned that I do. But anyways, that's going to be about a wrap for today's commentary segment. I hope you can take something away from these commentary segments and it can help, or you can use it in any way. I hope everyone has a great day today. If you hadn't, I hope you do. And I hope everyone joins me on the show tonight on Facebook Live at 8, or could be possibly 8:30. Look under Ozzy Neil Rose. Until then, so long. God bless you all. So long, everybody.